Hello, everyone. My name is Anna Wagner. My current issue and nursing topic is verbal orders. Verbal orders are given in healthcare every day in all types of patient care settings. Orders are given by physicians or mid-level providers to the nurse. Commonly, they are medication orders. The two questions listed above are being analyzed. How do verbal orders affect patient safety? How often do verbal orders occur in patient care settings? Cho and other authors in 2014 found that 53.6% of 534 medication orders resulted in at least one error. Of these errors, two-thirds were due to verbal orders. The orders were incorrectly interpreted by the nurse. According to the Institute for Safe Medication Practices, 85% of nurses reported that 1 in 4 orders received are verbal orders. Verbal orders create a problem because they compromise patient safety. In fact, a study performed by Johns Hopkins University in 2016 suggests that medical errors are now the third leading cause of death in the United States. A significant portion of medical error-related deaths are due to medication errors. It is not uncommon for nurses to misinterpret verbal orders. A large percentage of medication errors occur because of misinterpretation and incorrect order transcription by the nurse. Interdisciplinary action is required to create change in facilities. There is a policy that exists in my facility on verbal orders which shows change has occurred in the past. However, it is not extremely detailed. To implement a change at my current facility, teamwork is necessary. Nurses, physicians, and administrative staff must work together to create an official change. This is a chart I found on the Institute for Safe Medication Practices from 2017. It describes errors related to verbal orders. For example, a prescriber called in an order for a one-time lorazepam dose for an agitated, anxious patient. The nurse entered the drug into the computer as Q4-hour PRN, which was the default frequency, instead of a one-time dose. The patient became over-sedated after receiving multiple doses. In what type of community do verbal orders occur? They happen in all patient care settings, such as outpatient, inpatient, long-term care, and they occur among all ages. I work at an inpatient psychiatric facility. It is an acute facility, and the average length of stay is 3 to 5 days. It is a psychiatric patient population. There are 4 units: adolescent, APCU, which is the acute psychiatric unit, and 2 adult units. It's located in an urban population. The city's population is greater than 300,000. A 68-bed facility, 10 adolescent and 58 adult beds. Staff members include psychiatrists, physician's assistants, advanced practice registered nurses, licensed practical nurses, mental health workers, social workers, licensed mental health technicians, mental health protection workers, therapists and group leaders, chaplains, and medical hospitalists. Community culture. The facility is part of a Catholic healthcare system. It is a nonprofit organization. The mission is listed below. The values listed here are the values of the community, which are reflected in the culture. The culture's missions and values are reflected by the following. Chapel services are provided every Sunday. There are chaplain consults and groups. Time of prayer offered daily. nursing spiritual assessment, care for every individual regardless of pay, a nonprofit religious-based organization. Nursing staff also provides a spiritual assessment to incorporate the missions and values into daily nursing care. What type of social impact do verbal orders have in my facility? I interviewed some leaders to determine their views on the issue. The charge nurse stated that verbal orders are necessary in emergency situations, but providers should try to enter their own orders if possible. The house supervisor stated that verbal orders allow for error in order transcription, like when taking admission or medication orders. One of the physicians felt that they are necessary sometimes, but probably not the safest. I can see why nurses are scared to put the orders in. Analyzing the issue by strengths and weaknesses. One of the strengths is that there is current policy in place for verbal orders. Because there is already facility recognition, it would be easier to build upon the current policy. However, the inpatient policy could be more detailed, which is why it is also a weakness. Provider to nurse ratio is manageable. There are very few site providers that work in this facility. It would not be as difficult to implement change among interdisciplinary teams. However, this facility is also smaller. Providers become familiar with nurses because psych is the only specialty provider at the facility. Being comfortable with staff makes it harder to say no to verbal orders when they do occur outside of emergent situations. It is a strength that there are order sets for emergent situations. There are usually order sets initiated that nurses can use in an emergent situation, such as if a patient becomes violent, which helps eliminate receiving orders in a stressful environment. But in psych, there is a high frequency of stat events at the facility. If order sets are not initiated, it seems difficult to completely eliminate verbal orders in an emergency situation if a medication order is needed, for example. To effectively address strengths and weaknesses, it is required to speak with leaders. Share concerns appropriately through the chain of command, such as house supervisor and nurse manager. Leaders can address issue with facility administration. Funding would most likely come within the organization. Recommendations. Limit verbal orders to true emergencies or circumstances in which the prescriber is physically unable to electronically transmit, write, or fax order. Promote a culture where it is acceptable to say no to verbal orders. Create detailed policies and procedures, such as providing limitations or prohibitions on verbal orders. Educate staff to receive verbal orders properly if verbal orders are absolutely necessary.